Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of ColeCast, the podcast for all of us. I'm Xlj the Og, and as you can tell, yes, it is Halloween week here on Cole TV, one of our favorite and most time-honored traditions here on Cole TV. We love bringing you exclusive content all about Halloween this week. And of course, every year on ColeCast, we always are talking horror films, and I'm super excited this year because I've got my brother with me from over World Championship Wreckage, the one, the only, the Will Gray. How you doing, buddy?
I am really glad to be here. I've been on this hiatus from wrestling content, and when you asked me to talk horror movies, I absolutely was like, yes. 10 times yes. 10 times in a row, yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. And what a perfect time of year, of course, to do it. But I'm excited too, man, to get deep into this with you, man, because like unbeknownst to me until we like truly kind of started talking and stuff, I didn't realize like you were a big horror movie fan.
I am. I started kind of late in life when I was young, to be completely honest. No free shout outs. We did a episode on Getting Off. We were just talking about it. One of the other co-hosts, one of the other podcasts I co-host for. And we did episodes that scared the crap out of us. And for me, it was Child's Play. And when I saw that as a young kid, it kind of stunted my horror growth. You know what I mean? It scared the shit out of me. So I didn't want anything to do with horror for a long time. And then probably, I would say around high school, I really got into it. I started rewatching, like watching for the first time, but rewatching some of the classics. They had been out or came out since I was alive, but like, again, I hadn't really given a shit about it. So I went and rewatched a bunch of them. And that's kind of where it came about and started for me. So not really and I haven't been watching my whole life, but it wasn't like I just started. So I'm in the in between. I started in high school.
You know what? That's okay because I think a lot of us did. I mean, I myself, I'm right in there with you. Like for me, I had the great benefit of working at a video store, so it was just like, okay, it was free reign. Because I mean, when you work at a video store back in the day, like that was what everybody's. It's a Friday night. What are you renting? If you're not getting a new release, then you're renting like a horror film, man. And so, like for me, that just opened up the floodgates. It's like, okay, I gotta start checking some of this stuff out.
My favorite job, and I always say this outside of a kitchen, my favorite job that I've ever owned was the summer after my freshman year of college. And I spent 3 months working as a video store clerk. And I'm talking like not even a Blockbuster. I'm talking a little like hole in the wall, mom and pop owned video store in my hometown. It was attached to a fucking Kroger in a strip mall. Like, so I would go in and work from like 2 to 10. And it was one of those things where she interviewed me and was like, and I apologized for the content, but it was like, even during my interview, she was like, everybody who works here either has like a divorce or a drug addiction or whatever. Like, what's your story? And I was like, I'm just a college student who likes movies and smokes a little bit of weed. And she was like, great, you're my closer.
You're hired.
And I was like, I became an 18-year-old Will became the most responsible member of your staff on day one of my interview. Like, I don't know how that happened, but again, hands down the favorite job I've ever had. And you're right, the unlimited supply and access to the amount of movies I watched. Because being in that summer block after my freshman year of college, it was work or just hanging out at home doing nothing. So I would just stockpile movies. And that's why I really just started watching anything that somebody had ever suggested to me I hadn't seen. I would take the DVD home with me. And so, yeah, hands down, one of my favorite job ever outside of the kitchen was being a movie store clerk. Agreed, 100% with you on that.
It's amazing, like such fond memories. And even though it's like for short period of time for you, like I did it for like maybe about a year and a half. Like, one of my I still look back and it's like one of my best jobs ever, man.
That summer to me was like a comedy movie because of the characters I interacted with, the other people I worked with. Like it was like a bad B-list comedy movie that summer. And I was like, it was so much fun. So much fun.
Oh, it sounds amazing, man. I think that it would warrant a podcast for another time too. I think you and I should swap some video store stories.
Yes,
because I got some good ones too, my friend. I totally feel you there. But I want to ask you. So, what did you find out of all the genres of film? What was it? The appeal of horror films that got you that got you like hooked?
I'm one of those weird like adrenaline junkies. So for me, it's not necessarily about being scared. I like things that make my heart race a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, I like action sports. I like, I hate heights, but I love like that rush you get from peering over the edge when you're at the top of a building or something. You know what I mean? So for me, it's always about that rush. And I think that's in horror specifically, that's one of the things that draws me to it is because and like other styles as well, but specifically horror is that anticipation. You know what I mean? You're watching a scary movie, you know you're going to get scared, so you automatically have that little bit of that pitter patter in your chest of when is it going to start getting scary. You know what I mean? So I think that's
Oh yeah.
probably why horror movies are one of my favorite. I just started the Ed Gein story on Netflix.
Oh, how is that? I've heard different things.
First episode so far, dude, is hands down my favorite of this group because these are the people that did the Dahmer story and the Menendez
Right.
brothers, and like they've been kind of doing this whole like murder mystery, like real life serial killer thing. And so far, one episode in, this is as good or better than what the Dahmer story was. But like I just like that anticipation and that thrill and that like anxiety of the scare, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like once you know it's coming, it's like you can
Yeah.
be prepared for however well you want. You're still gonna like when that moment happens, you're like, oh shit, you know.
The perfect example of it is like Paranormal Activity. I always talk about this when it comes to movies that have an equation and they still scare you. Paranormal Activity was found footage, which automatically gives you a little bit of anxious because you don't know which scenes are going to be scary. But then on top of it, they gave you that comedic relief because during the day, it was almost just like normal people bullshitting. But then that moment the night switch happened, it was like your heart would start racing because you didn't know what was going to happen now. Because okay, the lights are on daytime, everything's cool and funny, and then maybe like a vase would move. But then at
Right.
nights when shit gets weird, and I like that the anticipation of waiting. You know what I mean? Waiting for the pop, like in wrestling.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? To tie it over, like waiting for the pop.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. That is one of those things I think that I love. I've always loved about the horror genre is it's like that anticipation of the slasher, the killer, whoever. Like once they pop up on screen or you get their first kill or whatever, it's like the beginning of it. You're kind of teased a little bit, and then when you get to the thick of things, and the thing of it is, like you said, you don't know when it's coming. You think you kind of have an idea, but I also like that too in films when it's like it's okay, it's obvious, it seems like it's going to happen. They tease it and then it doesn't happen, and then just like boom out of nowhere they hit you with it. And you're like, holy shit!
Oh yeah. One that stands out for me is Hell House LLC. I don't know if you're familiar with that trilogy of movies. It's
Oh yeah,
like starts as a haunted house, and then after the end of the first one, it kind of goes off into this whole thing about like making portals to hell and stuff. But the first one, in my opinion, has some of those best you don't realize they're coming jump scares. And again, another found footage, but I'm going to try not to be one-sided with this conversation with the movies that I bring into it. But that was another one that had really unanticipated jump scares that made me like that feeling of wanting the next one to happen.
I think it's interesting too because I know for me, like so I'm old school. Like I always gravitate towards like the slasher, the '80s. Like I just that's like my heart and soul when it
For
comes to
sure.
horror films. But it's like I do find it interesting that when it's like the found footage genre is like really blown up over the past 20 years or whatever it's been. And it's one of those things you don't have to have the blood and guts necessarily to get that like that instantaneous like jolt of like oh shit. It's a different type of scare, I guess you could say.
Blair Witch. I always say like that was the origin point and the turning point for found footage films. And when you look at how that movie was shot specifically, there is no real blood or guts or gore. It's like a Super Nintendo game for horror movies in a sense that it's 100% gameplay. You know what I mean? They don't have
Yeah,
any big special effects to make it work or anything. It's all about getting from point A to point B as efficiently as you can. And the writers and the directors, and I'm sorry for not being better prepared for their names right now, but the way they shot that movie too changed how films were made, because they would give each of the actors different point cards. So it would be like one actor would be like, on day 2, you have to get rid of the map. Okay. But nobody was allowed to know what was on your point cards. So when Homeboy lost the map in the movie, he was told to lose the map, and everybody's real reaction was, oh fuck, we're in the woods and you lost the map. That was real. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
that's what I like about that, was the way, like, the psychological aspect of what they did to make that movie seem as real as possible. And
It's,
brilliant.
you know what's interesting about that film too is the fact, like, I mean, and you probably remember too, when it came out, the hype on that, and everybody, that was like almost one of those films where it was like water cooler talk. Like, you got to watch it, you got to see it, no
I
matter
was
what.
I was young, and I
Yeah.
remember living in an apartment complex, and you would come downstairs from my apartment and you had to walk. It was one of those where you had to like walk up to the end of the block to get to the garbage can, right? Like a compactor,
Hmm.
whatever the hell it was. And the bottom floor apartments on the other side of my building were empty and the blinds were open. And that last scene of that movie where she walks into the basement and dude's standing in the corner, like every night taking the garbage out at dusk or after the sun had set at dark, like after I saw that movie, I would walk by those empty apartments and like peek in to make sure there wasn't a fucking dude standing in the corner. Like that was the
Yeah,
effect that movie had on me. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
and
man.
and
Yeah.
I loved that about it. And still to this day, as we progress through the episode, like there's a bunch of horror movies on my list that are going to fall into two specific genres, because they're my not just horror but film in general. These are
Okay.
two, yeah. So
That is almost a perfect. That is a perfect segue to what I was going to ask you next. But I was going to say that I do want to say this on the whole Blair Witch. It's funny because, like, when that come out, so hyped, and then you would be, and I think all of us was just anticipating something completely different. And I remember as a kid, like, being pissed, like, oh fuck this, I don't fuck Blair Witch, and felt like that for years. And now here we are, over 20 years later, and it's like, okay, like I get, you have a newfound retrospect on it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I hate to admit this, like do this analogy, but it's like in music. It's like, fucking, we hated Nickelback, right? But like, there's that what do we call it, dad rock or whatever. And there's some
Creed,
songs that they're here, like
perfect
Creed.
example was
Yeah,
Creed. Yeah,
it's just like, okay, I guess this isn't as bad as I remember it to be. So yeah.
agreed, agreed.
But no, like what I was gonna say is, I was wanting to ask you, what are your favorite subgenres in horror?
Obviously found footage, but actually my favorite type of horror movie across the board, zombie movies.
Let's go.
I love zombie movies, specifically 28 Days Later, my
Oh
favorite
God,
zombie
so good.
movie. I feel like the way it was shot and done, and then you look at the other movies that the director had done, Danny Boyle, like Train Spotting, for instance, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And he took his style of shooting and directing that he did for Train Spotting and applied it to a horror movie. And I think that was one of the things that made it my favorite, was the fact that it wasn't shot or directed like a traditional horror zombie movie. He shot it like a movie that also had zombies in it. You know, the story of the Cillian Murphy's character, like waking up and getting back to his family and all of that, and the finding out his parents took their own life so they didn't have to face the apocalypse, and don't wake up. You know what I mean? Like all of that. That was what that movie was about. They're just, we're also a bunch of fucking crazy zombies.
Yes.
And I think that's one of my reasons why it's my favorite zombie movie, is because it's not just, oh god, we got to survive. Like he did such a good job of making you invested in the story and the characters.
I was trying, as you're saying that too, I'm trying to think to myself as well, like I'm trying to think of a franchise that spaced itself out as well as they did. Because
But
you had like 28 days, 28 weeks, and then 28 years. And it's like, it's really it's an interesting thing. And like you said with Danny Boyle too, I love that when you get a director like outside that doesn't do horror films, and then you put them in that horror realm and what they can do. And they produce some amazing stuff. It's like it reminds me as a kid, like I was a massive fan, and still to this day love Tales from the Crypt. And I love when
Yeah.
they would bring in directors, like famous directors, and do episodes, and it was just like, oh, it was amazing.
One of the things specifically about that series that I like a lot is he wrote the first one, and then he had plans to do a second and third movie. Okay. And he didn't get the funding the way he wanted. That's why Danny Boyle isn't at all involved with 28 Weeks Later, the original sequel to the series. He made the first one, wasn't involved in the second one, and then he got brought back on to do these next two. And he came out and was like, this is what I wanted to do with the series, was to show the outbreak and then to show what the world was like years and generations later.
Oh.
This was his original plan. So for me as a fan to hear him say that's like beautiful. And the little bit of snippets when 28 Years Later came out last summer, he made the release of both of those movies exactly 28 weeks to the day apart.
Really?
They filmed them at the same time and
Wow.
scheduled the releases 28 weeks apart. So we got part 1 28 years later, and we're going to get part 2 in January now.
That's
So
amazing.
like, yeah, man, it's the kind of intricacies and details about Danny Boyle movies, like a Wes Anderson or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
little Easter eggs and things planted throughout his films that make you go, shit, this guy's good. You know?
Oh, he's one of the all-time greats. Like, oh my god, like in my mind, there's not anything bad that man has done. But let me ask you this: so you mentioned zombies, so I have to ask the question: are you a Romero fan?
Yes, of course, without question. But my I don't want to say my beef with Romero. He coined and like was the godfather of the zombie movie, right?
Hmm.
And to me, in that genre, the subgenre of a subgenre, the dumb lumping around brains zombie is my least favorite one. So like I always give him his roses for like developing and building a genre that is my favorite, but his specific style of zombie movies, even Dawn of the Dead the remake, the one later where they're like in the buildings and they're like playing chess, holding up the marker boards and
Hmm.
shit. Like even that one was easier and more fun to watch than Romero's, and it's just a style and a preference thing. I like I said, the Godfather originator, give him his roses. It's just not my cup of tea. If it wasn't for
Yeah,
him, though, we wouldn't have got 28 years later, 28 days later,
right.
28. You know what I mean? Like any of this.
Yeah, he laid
So
the groundwork. But yes, you're right.
exactly.
Those films, they are classic, and they still hold up to this day. But it's just with the zombie genre, it's so more. There's so much more you can do with it. It's gone from the simplistic of like brains, like
Yeah.
you were saying. The one thing I like with Romero is how like they like with his with the trilogy, I will say, how pretty much you covered the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. I always thought that was pretty cool how there was one for each decade. I will say this when he did, and the movie's so bad I'm drawing the blank of the name of it, but the one he did the mid 2000s, you remember that? Like what was that? I mean, it was something of the dead, obviously.
Yeah. Hold on,
Um,
I'll pull it up for
because
you.
you had night, you had day, of course, dawn, and then day. Which I love Day of the Living Dead. I still think it's a great movie. It holds up well. I love the beginning
Uh
of that too.
Survival of the Dead and Diary of the Dead and Land of the Dead
Land
were
of
the
the Dead's
three.
the one I was thinking. Shit, there was
Yeah.
two others. I didn't see after Land. I was just like, I think I'm out.
Yeah.
And then
Land
you
of the
have
Dead.
Walking Dead at the same time going on too, which I was a huge and still am a huge Robert Kirkman fan. So I love the comics. Like I remember reading the comics when they first started come out. Like I came in like issue 7 or 8 because the guy at my comic shop was just like a huge Romero fan, and he was telling me about it. I'm like, all right, I'll check him out, and then I got hooked.
I came in for me reading the comics was I want to say it was volume 3 or volume 4 when
Hmm.
the governor was first introduced because I had a
Oh
friend
yeah.
who was like deep into the lore of these comics, and we lived next to a McKay's. I don't know if you know what a McKay's is or if y'all have them up your way, but it's like the ultimate used media store, books, CDs,
Oh,
records, video
okay. Okay.
games, musical instruments, like any sort of art essentially that's ever existed, you can find new and used at a McKay's. And that's where it was at.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah. So I lost my train of thought. What was the question?
Already. Oh, we were talking about zombie films. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
We were talking about Romero, pretty much.
the comic books,
Yeah.
the Walking Dead things.
Yes, The Walking
Yeah,
Dead.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I was. I went
Kirkman.
off my
Yeah.
tangent about McKay's. I was like,
Yes.
what the hell was I even talking about? The used bookstores. I just wanted to go off my tangent, but The Walking Dead specifically. So being there, I immediately went and just found used copies of the first 3 or 4 issues, whatever it was, and I read them, and I was like, this is awesome. And again, like I was saying about 28 Days Later, The Walking Dead is a story about people surviving in the apocalypse, and there's zombies. It's not so much a zombie story. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was drawn to the show. I will 100% admit this, that when Rick left the show on the helicopter, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it that far, I quit watching.
Dude, I'm right there with you. Like I
I did.
knew,
I just cold turkey was like, well, there's nothing left at this point,
yeah,
like.
because and it was so drastically different than the comics too, with like the endings of some of the characters. You're just kind of like, what's the point? Like it just.
And the introduction of some characters and the way
Dude,
they
the
wrote
shows are
characters.
still going. I don't know if you
Yeah,
knew that, but they're literally still going. I saw a commercial the other day on AMC. I'm like, for a show with like Daryl in it. I was like, what the fuck? It's still going? It's like they're
yeah.
doing like different stories or whatever, I guess. But yeah, it's still going.
Daryl got his it was the Walking Dead. What was the other one that they did where it was like
Yeah. Oh, they did yeah, they took some characters and like they did. I remember that.
it
I
was a
never
whole
watched it.
it was like a crossover show or whatever.
Yeah, because it lasted for a couple of seasons. Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
the original series up until probably I would say season 5 or 6, after they get through the prison, they get through all of that, they get to Alexandria and everything. Like when they start getting to that point of the show, you know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, this is dope. Like
yeah.
that
And
core meat and potatoes of the series up until everything went AWOL with Negan.
yeah. Yeah, and it's like you had a great villain in the governor, and then you introduced Negan, and this was like, holy shit. But
Yeah.
I do think the show kind of, well, I don't know. That's another discussion for another time. But I do have to say this anytime talking zombies. I always think to the scene from what is it, Zombie 2 or whatever, the zombie versus the shark. Like have you've seen that, right?
I've seen the clip, yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking ridiculous and incredible.
It always makes its rounds on social media every so often when like in the be like in on horror Twitter or horror Instagram, like in reels, you'll see like off the wall stuff. So I've seen the clip of the shark and the zombie.
Yeah, it's just chef's kiss. So good. So good. Both great genres of film, of horror, and that's the beautiful thing I love with horrors. There's just so many different. It's beyond just like a horror film. Like we were talking about origins and stuff. I know for me, what got me started really originally as a little kid was I was a huge fan and still am to this day of love the Universal monster movies. Watched them with my dad, grew up on them, loved them. Same Godzilla as well. Within the huge Godzilla fan, loved that.
Oh,
And then, like I say, started to like open up my palette there in high school and stuff. And then working at Blockbuster and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah. I remember the first, like, what I don't know why, but one of the, like, because we used to do like as the guys, we would like me and my buddies, we would just get together and have a little devil's lettuce, if you will, and just watch a bunch of horror movies. After I get off work or shift, and like I remember, like we did this so many different nights, but like one of my favorite nights was the night where I discovered and watched Dead Alive for the first time, or Brain Dead, which fucking absolutely that for me is like still one of my all-time favorite horror films. Like Peter, like people don't know, like if you're a Peter Jackson fan and you've never seen like his early stuff, man, when over in New Zealand and stuff, holy shit. It is so much different than anything he's done here in the States, man. Like so fucking good. Me and my buddies, we would quote. I was still, dude. I ran into like one of my buddies. who I probably hadn't seen in about 10, 15 years, whatever, just shooting the shit. And like in mid conversation, we get in I kick ass for the Lord, because it was just like we fucking quoted that line all the time from that movie, man. So sorry,
That's
I went off on a tangent.
that's the best part about, especially my buddy Matt, the guy I was talking about who hosts the podcast that I co-host with him. Like that connection with specifically with your friends who are also film buffs and really enjoy movies. My buddy Zach's another one, and it's like he and I can just one off. Sometimes he'll say a line from a movie, and then I'll just like spit it back or whatever comes next. And it's like those are those real fun connections with people who are not just horror again, but just film in general.
Yeah,
Just people who really enjoy watching movies. So I respect that kind of a friendship and relationship for sure.
absolutely, man. It's like you can just pick it up where you left off.
Yep.
Uh, Let me ask you this: do you have any favorite or a favorite franchise?
I would probably say my favorite horror franchise, meaning the entire catalog from beginning to end, Halloween.
Yeah,
Um,
well played.
I think if you look at the way the Michael Myers universe is set up and the multiple timelines that he has with the original timeline and then the Rob Zombie verse and then the Halloween 2018 timeline that picked up after the second movie, I think, or whatever, however it worked out, like the multiple timelines from the series, and then Michael himself, the quintessential slasher walking around with the machete. When you think about horror movies, you pretty much think Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, essentially, right?
Yeah,
And so to me, my favorite franchise is Halloween.
yeah. It's hard to pick against that. I mean, and the thing of it is, like, there's been so many, and yes, with horror films and with the slasher franchises, especially at times, it can be like, okay, wash, repeat, recycle, So, but I don't know. There was something to me. There was just something charming about Michael Myers, like just about the character himself. And I know that sounds fucking weird calling Michael Myers charming, but I'm that kind of guy. What can I say? But the those films that like there's some that aren't as good as the others, but when you look at them overall, like complete, it's like I can't not watch one and not watch the other. You know what I mean? It's just like they hold a special place in my heart there too.
Even if you look at, and this is going to be the big trigger point for the people in the chat watching the episode who are going to be like, fuck Season of the Witch. If you watch
I was waiting for it.
if you watch Halloween 3 without, you take away Halloween 3, just completely wipe it off the map, all right? And it's just a movie called The Season of the Witch that coincidentally takes place in the same universe that the Michael Myers stuff happened in, right?
Hmm.
That Season of the Witch. They made the mistake of marketing Season of the Witch as a Halloween movie.
Yep.
They should have marketed it as a horror movie in the same Halloween universe.
Yeah, because if you
And,
take it out of the equation of like everybody like expected Michael, like it's not bad. I like Season of the Witch.
and technically Michael Myers is in the movie because there's an
Well, that's
Easter egg
true.
where he's on the screen and it's the scene from the original one. It's the closet scene if I remember right. But like he's technically in it. But like that's the point, is like even the ones that aren't super good are still like have legs to stand on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even if I do have to put an asterisk and tell you to remove the fact that it says Halloween 3 and it's not actually Halloween 3, it's like Halloween 1.5, I guess, maybe, depending, like whatever the case is. Like, but
Yeah.
still, remove yourself from that story and just accept the fact that it's a horror movie based in that universe. It's still not a terrible movie. It's not the best. Not saying that. But
Yeah.
it's like you remove the idea of it being a Halloween movie and it's not terrible.
Yeah. No, and it's like just the luster and the appeal of that whole franchise. It's one of the most iconic horror franchises all time, and it's like it's crazy when you look back at how that all started, like with John Carpenter with being like an ultimate independent film. I mean, you look back in the 70s when that came out, that was the highest grossing independent film of all time for the longest of times, And you look at like just how they made that. Like, I love, of course, I know everybody's for the most part familiar with the origins of the Michael Myers mask. That was literally just a William Shatner Halloween mask that was just dumbed down or like melted down or whatever the fuck they did.
Yeah, they like cut the hair and repainted it and like
Yeah.
scuffed it up and stuff on set, like because they forgot they didn't have a mask. They were like, we don't have anything for what Michael is going to look like, right? Like, and that's another thing I love about those little like snippets we get years later from it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Best Gout and I had the distinct honor of actually, like, we went to check out where they shot the original movie at. Matter of fact, it's actually in our movie that we made last year, Friday Night Movie Night, the Christmas special, the movie.
That was amazing, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. We're still waiting to hear from the Oscars. I think we're still in contention. Well, maybe.
I mean, it was
Uh,
released. You may have missed
well,
this year, but you might be in the
I
running
think
for
I
next year, depending on
yeah.
how they're cut. It's like PWI, right? Nobody really
Mhm.
knows when the voting happens. It
Yeah.
just happens. Like that's
So
probably what happened. You guys were just pushed off a year later and just
it's
didn't
a
realize you were after
possibility.
cutoff. That's all.
Yeah. I know Daniel Day-Lewis has got this new movie coming out, and I think there's something about cum socks in it too as well. But it's completely different than ours, so I'm just
No,
saying.
it's not the same movie.
No, it's not the
But
same.
you might be confused because Gout's performance may have convinced you that it was Daniel Day Lewis.
That's true. He does have a lot of nuances as Daniel Day-Lewis. But one thing I was going to say that's fascinating about that, so a little bit like pulling back the curtain. So where that house is, the people that own it, they don't open it up to the public or anything like that. It's just there. But what's interesting is there is a storied rivalry with their neighbors because their neighbors actually have like a tour and everything, and it's all like you can come in and do some touristy things with them, and they talk about Halloween and stuff, which I find
Yeah.
fascinating. It's just like, okay, the house next door, talks about it.
Embraces the history, and the people who actually own the house are like,
They're
fuck
like,
you
fuck it,
guys.
no, like get the fuck off my lawn. But the thing is, nobody lives there. Nobody lives there. It's just a fucking house that's there.
How would you not have the officially licensed and sanctioned Michael Myers Museum set up in that
Right?
house?
It's insane. It's bonkers, if you ask me.
Bonkers.
Um, Let me ask you this: do you have any guilty pleasures? Because I think we all do. Like some that people are kind of like, it's kind of a little cheesy or whatever, but just holds a place near and dear to your heart.
I will always and forever love a good horror comedy. So like Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead,
Oh,
stuff
love
like
Shaun
that.
of the Dead.
I don't know if they really qualify like horror guilty pleasures because they're not bad movies, but I love a good comedy horror combination. And this movie is both a zombie movie, a horror movie, and a comedy. And I gave it the lowest possible grade for a movie. I rated it a 1 out of 10. And I still say that people should watch it if you love B-list horror. And that's Zombie Strippers.
You already have me at the title. I mean, shit.
It is literally the too long didn't read of it. One is what's the fucking the old porn star dude that
Ron
he was
Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy is the seedy like strip club manager, and he
Oh,
realizes
yeah.
that one of the girls becomes a zombie and she can dance nonstop 24 hours a day 7 days a week. So he starts having her convert all of his strippers to zombies so he can keep his little seedy strip club open 24 hours. And
uh,
you can only imagine the shenanigans that ensue because of this crazy. And it all comes from the military. And there's this huge fight at the end between the army and the zombies. And like, there's this girl who starts stripping to pay for Granny's medical bills. Like
that's
every like
incredible.
terrible little nuance from a B-list movie. So I rate it 1 out of 10. I say it's a terrible movie, but you should absolutely watch it. Zombie Strippers.
That sounds amazing. That sounds like up there, like with The Godfather, with Casablanca,
It
zombies
is
versus
like
I take my money now.
you think about like the horsehead scene and like the amount of like planning and angles that Coppola took to do that, and then you watch Zombie Strippers and you're like, I could see where the inspiration came from. See, like all of these great films.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that's exactly what they were going for. They had to have been. So. For me, I always like when you take an established character and you just put him somewhere where it's like he doesn't fucking belong or they don't fucking belong. Like, like as far as a guilty pleasure for me, anything if you're gonna put somebody in space, like
Oh my god.
like fucking Leprechaun in
Leprechaun
space.
in space,
Uh,
Jason in
Jason
space.
X in space, yes. I even love, I love Jason, or Friday 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, where they put him in the fucking city.
Yep.
Like, oh my god, it's so fucking. And my favorite part is where the one guy's like standing up to him, he's like boxing him, and he's a pretty athletic dude, and he's beating the shit out of Jason. And then Jason just fucking uppercuts him, and his head like goes flying
Just
off.
busts
It's like
off like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
it's like so good.
Leprechaun in the Hood is another one.
Oh yeah, Leprechaun in
Just
the Hood.
one of those just like slapstick comedy, like exactly what you would think of if it was like
Mm-hmm.
early 1990s gang members in a horror movie. Like,
Yeah,
it's so good, so funny.
it's so good. And you have Ice-T is in it, so you know it's got that stamp of approval. Oh my god, Leprechaun in the Hood, which they also made a sequel, Back to the Hood, because it's like, oh okay, it worked the first time, let's do it again. Why not?
That is actually you saying that about the, I'm sorry for the dogs.
Oh, you're fine.
The whole like guilty pleasure things. Yeah, Leprechaun in space, Leprechaun in the Hood, Jason in space, Jason X, like anything like that is like awesome. As a matter of fact, like any alien scary movie as well. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you would count like Signs maybe, but like still more of a suspense thriller
Yeah.
than a horror. But like alien movies in general, love those. So tack
Yeah.
that on to like maybe a close number 3 for my favorite genres.
That's good. Like, I
Or
mean, and
science
there.
fiction horror,
Oh yeah. Well, it's like, there's the classic like Alien, of course,
for
and that
sure.
series. But I mean, there's some other great ones too. I tell you, the one that always still fucking gets me, because there's some like where it's like, okay, it's not a horror movie, it's a different genre movie, but they have a scene or scenes in it that like scared the bejesus out of me. Fire in the Sky. Holy fuck.
Ooh.
That movie, like where he gets the scene where he gets abducted and stuff. Like that shit is crazy, and the fact that that's like technically actually based on like a true story. So that was a guy's like legit like recounting of being abducted by aliens, which is just eerie as shit, man.
It's like what was that one movie, the Seventh Kind or whatever it was, where it was the
Oh
whole thing
yeah.
about like aliens making contact with us in various ways until the final one is like real in life person to person
Mm-hmm.
contact and all the creepy shit that's happening building up to that. Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
science fiction, alien, horror, also another good one.
That is a good one. I agree. Do you have a favorite character of all time of the horror genre? I know you mentioned Halloween, of course, Mike Myers. Um,
Um, ooh, yes. Let me throw this out there. And it
okay.
is a Michael Myers character, but I think without this character specifically, the whole series would change, and it's not Laurie.
Okay, it's
Dr. fucking Loomis.
Loomis. Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely, man. A pivotal part of the first flicks, man.
He is the Samwise Gamgee of the Halloween universe. Without him, that story would have not been the same. In
No.
every movie that Dr. Loomis is a part of, even down to the Rob Zombie universe of it, like Dr. Loomis being that caretaker and that giver and that almost like Michael's like savant to the real world. The only
Yeah.
person that gets him. You know what I mean? Like it's his Dr. Frankenstein almost.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe Dr. Loomis may be my favorite horror character. I'll throw
I
that
love that.
right now in this moment. I'll say Dr. Loomis.
That's a wonderful pick. Like, it does not get enough flowers as far as I'm concerned. Because if you take Dr. Loomis out of the equation, does the story work? Yeah, but it doesn't work nearly as well.
It's not having just Lori, just the sister playing into it and all of the shit that happens with his family. That in itself is good. You could build the franchise off of that. But incorporating the fact that Dr. Loomis almost every single time is going, I think I can get through to him. I think we can make this work. And he never really truly loses faith in Michael. I think that's what kind of makes Dr. Loomis so pivotal, is because he's the one who doesn't, and of all the characters in all the movies, he's the one that doesn't always think Michael's the bad guy. Does he do bad shit? Yes. but he's not. He's trying to figure out why he does bad shit so he can make it stop for him. You know what I mean? And I think that's why Dr. Loomis is so important.
Yeah. That's a great pick. I love
Ooh,
that.
mic drop.
Yeah. That is the equivalent of a mic drop. Like we got that we're clipping that. Let me ask you, do you have a favorite kill that comes to mind?
Ooh, this is tough.
Right? So many.
I'm going to go out of left field.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And this one specific to me is tough because of a personal fear. And considering I'm covered in tattoos, like the irony of this fear is needles. So we're gonna go, I think it's Saw 3 when they're in the barn thing and he's got the game going on and Amanda falls into the pit of needles.
Yep.
Like, and then we find out later, again, spoiler alert, Amanda doesn't die there, but like that whole sequence and Chester in, I think it was Saw 4, the garage scene where he he gets glued to the car seat and he like, oh God, dude. And he like hits it and he comes off and it just like rips his whole back off. Like, ooh. The guy who did the Saw movies, in all of them in sequential order, have some of my favorite deaths of any horror series.
That you bring up a great point. There is like with the Saw series, like there's a big following. I think like a lot of people love the Saw films. Like I like the first couple, and I kind of like. Truth be told, I kind of the other ones kind of mixed together. But that being said, the kills is what sticks out in those films, especially I think because there's some incredible kills.
I want you to take your dare hat off figuratively and put your tinfoil hat on.
Okay.
Kevin McAllister is John Kramer.
What? Okay,
Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. We all know the historical significance behind that. The really anxious and awkward, but incredibly highly smart kid who has really shitty luck throughout his life. Okay, he essentially hops around, and you see everything that he does. Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Home Alone 3, all the things that he does, and all the acclaim him and his family get from being the kid who's always left behind. Right.
Yeah.
Later in life, he goes on and goes to medical school and becomes Dr. John Kramer because he goes through a name change because he wants to separate himself from his life. The kid who is obsessed with setting traps and, getting equal and making sure bad guys pay becomes John Kramer later in life and essentially does the same shit, just really terrible to hurt bad people again.
I my mind is fucking blown right now. Holy shit. Like, what the actual fuck? And motivation's probably because he fucking wasn't loved by his parents because he fucking got left behind.
You think about like it was Saw 36 or whatever the most recent one was, where they talk about where he goes to Costa Rica and we see why he becomes the crazy because the doctors there screw him over and tell him his cancer's cured when it's really not, right? Like, and he's like, the whole story is fighting against the bad guys who want to take him out. Everything from the original one up to the doctor and the photographer in Saw 1 to Amanda to everything else is all based around people who did Kevin wrong.
You're a fucking genius. That's insane. Oh my God. I am never, okay, you just two things. One, I'm never going to think of the Saw movies the same again, and now I'm going to fucking go back and watch all of them. So that is, oh my God, that's incredible. On so many fucking levels, that's incredible.
That's my favorite horror conspiracy theory, and I don't know, I can't take full credit because I don't know if somebody else before has made that joke or made that connection, but like I've stood 10 toes down when we covered the Saw series on Getting Offed. Again, no free shout outs. We did the whole series and it was like 2 episodes, all 12 movies or whatever it was, and my closing sentiment was that John Kramer and Kevin McAllister were the same people.
Well, I can tell you that's the first time I've ever heard it. My mind is fucking blown, dude.
They're the same people.
You got me there. And it's like, and the thing is too, now I can't unsee it.
You see the connections. And
Yeah,
like, it's a little bit of a stretch.
there's a
but,
lot
like,
of there's a lot of parallels though. I can
yeah.
see it. Like there's
Mhm.
motivation there. Like I
A
said,
good guy who does bad shit to bad people.
yeah. I mean, and just think he's got like adult money now, and he can
Uh-huh.
invest in his traps and whatnot. So that's
Brilliant kid with an engineering mind who went to school. We know in the lore of Home Alone that he went on to college, and you know what I mean? Like, so we
Yep.
know that he was a smart, successful kid later in life. So, like, why didn't he become a crazy, deranged lunatic, Dr. John Kramer? Tell me why he couldn't do it. We can all be whoever you want. Kevin McAllister, you can grow up to be John Kramer if you want to be.
That's insane, man. Like oh my god. I just hope like maybe they do like a prequel or something and it shows that he got Buzz, because fuck Buzz. Buzz was a dick.
That was
Even
his
though I
first
think
kill.
that was his first kill. Even though I think years later, like I think then they did the shitty one for Disney Plus or whatever. I think Buzz is actually on there as like a cop or something. But
Yeah, he went
still,
on to be. I know exactly what you're talking about. He did go on, but fuck
but
Buzz. He was a
no, in
dickhead.
my
Eating
mind,
the last piece of cheese pizza, I'd kick you in the dick for that if you were my
yeah, it's a
brother.
dick move, man. Fuck you, Buzz. Anyways, let me ask you this, because like one thing that's interesting to me, I feel like, is of course we cover a lot with pro wrestling, right? But I think there's a lot of us that are both big time wrestling fans and big time horror fans as well. What do you think's the crossover appeal of those two?
Um, I think it's the big phrase. It's my favorite phrase in pro wrestling, and it's the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
We know that Freddy Krueger can't infest our dreams and kill us while we're asleep, but he convinced an entire generation of people that if you died in a dream, you'd die in real life. Scientifically, like, I'm not saying it's not possible, but like dying in a dream will not kill you in real life. And Freddy Krueger made an entire generation think that you could. Chucky scared an entire generation of kids, like being, a crazy lunatic doll. Annabelle now does the same thing. It's the
Mhm.
suspension of disbelief. Do we believe that the Undertaker is really this crazy mortician that can control lightning? No, but they presented him to us in such a way that made me think it could be real.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest driving force between both, is that our heart of hearts as wrestling fans and as horror fans, we want that suspension of disbelief. We want it to be real, even if we know it's not.
That is so eloquently put. That like that's a perfect analogy, my friend. God, you just got so much. There's so many of these. I feel like I can clip and post. There's so
It's
many little
nothing but
shorts.
one-liners. The only thing I'm good at is like horror video games and like wrestling stuff. Like outside and cooking, like outside of like my big 4 or 5 things, like I'm completely useless. But you get me talking about something I'm good at, just go for hours, bro.
There you go. Well, I'm gonna ask you now to put on your Booker hat here. All
Okay.
right, because I like to play a little game here. If you were booking a wrestling card, but with nothing but horror characters, what would be a couple of your marquee matchups you'd have to have on your show?
Um, I would say my women's match. Let's go ahead and throw my women's match out.
Okay.
Megan versus Lizzie Borden.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so the deranged cyborg horror doll versus, the original quintessential murder queen. So I feel like that would be my easy women's match. Um, I would probably say my tag team match would be the Menendez brothers in a handicap match against the entire Manson family.
Oh shit. Okay.
um, I would put my main event would have to be a triple threat, no holds barred, like fight to the death for the quintessential slasher king, and it would be the three and we've said their names many times: Jason Voorhees, but specifically Kane Hodder's Jason, the
Yes.
original, versus
Yes.
Robert Englund's original Freddy Krueger versus the original Michael Myers. I'm talking peak horror icons. Last Man Standing would have to be my main event.
That's an incredible main event. See, like for me, I've because I've thought about it several times, truth be told. Like there's a match there's a triple threat match with two of those that you mentioned that I have to see, but I only have to see this because it was teased. I can remember reading like this was like fan fiction, but it was like so well put together. It was like you believed this could fucking happen. I would want to see Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. That's
Oh,
the
I didn't
matchup.
even think about Ash. Ash would be that like Cody Rhodes super
Yeah,
over baby face, like almost like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, like
right?
anti-hero. Like Ash would be the shop smart, shop S smart.
That's smart.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, Ash is a great pick.
but I remember reading some fan fiction. Like, there was legit, like, people were talking like it was going to happen at the end of Freddy versus Jason, and then like he ends up coming through the portal, like through Army of Darkness, and he ends up being right there with, like, oh man, I was so like that's got to happen. But that wouldn't even be my main event. I'll tell you what my main event would be. It would be the old school slasher versus the new kid on the block, so to speak. So I would have Michael Myers defending his territory against arguably like one of everybody's favorite character, I'd say, within the last 5 years, Art the
Art the
Clown.
Clown.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that'd be a good one. I think that'd be my main event. That's what I
that's
would
a
go with.
great one. Okay, tangent off of that now. Then
Yeah,
both of us would have stellar cards that would feed families, put butts in seats.
absolutely.
Going into Terrifier 4, I have enjoyed them, but
Yeah,
Art the Clown specifically needs an origin. He's reached that
yeah,
point. We have to know why. And I'm just going off the rails now because you brought him up. And since it's a horror episode, we can talk about all
we gotta do
things
it.
horror. I feel like in the next one, we have to get some sort of origin as to why Art the Clown is Art the Clown. Because
Right.
now 3 movies in and the two appearances it was in the other movies or whatever before he got his standalone stuff going, we still don't know why. And that's the most important thing is in a horror movie is don't make me ask why. Just like wrestling, I don't need to
Yep.
ask why. Everything why the story is happening should be on the screen for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's the one thing Art's missing. If they solidify his origin, then he will be instantly Mount Rushmore will now have 5 slashers on it. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case is, or 4, I guess. But like, I think that's the one piece he's missing from being up there with Freddy and Jason and
Oh yeah,
Michael and all of these guys is like Art needs his why.
and it's got to be something good too, man. They're the anticipation of this. Like we've been wondering for years, like what is how does he exist? Like why? What is his like? What are
Yep.
we? Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the next one. Like I feel like that's got like you're saying, it's got to get touched upon. It's got to be like I don't know if they go full blown into it. I mean, personally, I would love that, but it could be something like too, like some great build in pro wrestling where it's like we're just getting teased, but it's like okay, now we're kind of getting into the thick of it. I would say where it's like okay, something's got to give. You got to give me something.
Bingo.
I don't,
That's just kind of the point I am. We could watch Terrifier 4 and watch him, you know, 100 bathroom scenes. You know what I mean? Him destroying fucking people with rakes and chainsaws and whatever else creative ways he can come up with to kill people, right?
yeah,
That will
that's
only get you so far.
right.
You look at what was the one, the silly horror slasher that came out a few years ago where that the carnival. Like
Oh,
that I can't remember the name of it, but that was one of the biggest things for me. It was just a carnival and a bunch of dead people. And I was like, there is no why this happened. This was just a massacre.
I think that
Like,
was on Shutter or something. I think
yeah,
I know what you're talking
something.
about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just recently watched it, and that was what I said. I was like, why did it happen? There was no like why. It was just murder at a carnival. Like,
You
so
don't need a reason. So,
need a reason. It's just death. But yeah.
all right, my friend. Now I want to pick. I want to put you on the spot here. Okay, I'm going to give you a franchise and I want you just to pick one film out of the franchise as a must-see for you, or you think's the best, or what is the one? All right, and we'll start off with your favorite franchise, Halloween.
I think if you want to watch Halloween and you want the biggest, you know what? I'm going to say it. Don't if you've seen the Halloween movie and you've watched the original one. All right? The original Rob Zombie Halloween.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that point, and a lot of people shit on it because they were like, why'd they go through the whole thing with Michael as a kid? And again, I like knowing why. And the rest of the time in the whole other story, Dr. Loomis speculates and there's talk about Michael as a kid and how weird he was and stuff. We got to see the why. We got to see the crazy of Michael's origin. So if coming into it blind, outside of the original Halloween, which is what I think everybody needs to watch it. But if you were to tell me to pick my pick out of all of them, I think it's Rob Zombie's.
You know, it's funny. I think a couple of years ago, Gout and I kind of had a conversation about that, and like I watched it, and I wasn't like the biggest fan, but since that conversation, I've went back and watched the Rob Zombies, and they're great. I love them. Yeah. I think the thing of it is, especially when we get into these franchises that we love and hold near and dear, we overthink shit. Like our anticipation of what we're expecting is just that bar is way too freaking high. So like it's easy to do a rewatch and then grow a greater appreciation for stuff like that, I think.
The thing is, everybody will go, well, the original one's the best. Of course it is. The first Michael Myers, everything about it, the closet scene, Laurie, blah, blah, blah. All of those things make it the instant classic, and that's why Michael Myers is at the top of the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But what Rob Zombie did was he took this already established story and he like stripped it down to the primer coat, and then he painted it with his own brushstrokes. He made the movie and story his own. He did it with that Rob Zombie coat of paint, that, House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Three, like all of that. He did it with his coat of paint. I know some of those movies came out after the zombie verse of the Halloween, but like, you see my point. I think that's what's important about it. And I was just recently, somebody was talking about how like he ruined this series. And I'm like, in a world where the Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 6 exists, and where Halloween H2O exists, you can't tell me that the Rob Zombie original Halloween is the worst movie in the whole series line. You know what I mean? Is it the best? No. Is it my personal favorite? I would probably say yeah right now on the spot, because also it came out in that prime of watching horror. I wasn't old enough to see the original one in theaters. I got to see the Rob Zombie Halloween in theaters. Like that was cool.
That's a great point to make too, is the fact that you actually was in theaters to see it, because watching a horror flick in a theater versus watching it at home, it's a different vibe, man. Like it's a different vibe. Like you got to go watch it. It's like, especially if you can catch any of your theaters doing like showings of stuff, especially like in 35 millimeter and stuff. It's like, it's so fucking good, man. So it's
some of the local ones here around Halloween do runs like that, where they'll do like classic horror and they'll do like 2 or 3 movies back to back to back, and you can buy the whole ticket pass for the whole 6 hours of movies and come in and out, and it's like, do those things, go see the movies, experience it. Yeah.
Our drive-in here, we do like the Skyline drive-in. It's like the Skyline Scares. They do like a big 2-day event. It's like, it's so fucking good, man. So
there's a drive-in about an hour north of us that does that. They'll do Halloween like scary movies all week leading up to Halloween, and they'll do double features every night.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. That's the way God intended it. All right, pick me one out of Friday the 13th.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go not the original one, not the second one with the burlap sack Jason. Number 3, the Curse of Camp Crystal Lake or whatever it was, the first one where we got hockey mask Jason.
Yep. And in
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah, well, maybe not the through. There's a little too niche for me, but like I think that would probably be it. The first one is not my favorite, and the second one is very different with incorporating Jason the way they did. So I would say the first true version of Jason Voorhees in the third
That's a
one.
good pick. That's a good
Yeah,
pick. Oh.
either that or Jason Takes Manhattan. What
Yes.
is that?
Fucking, it's 8.
Like
I love
5,
8.
8? Yeah.
People shit on 8. I fucking love 8. Like, I don't care what you
Jason
say.
Goes to Hell, also not a bad pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I like bad horror movies though. Like,
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. All right, you mentioned this franchise earlier. This is gonna be a tough one for you. What about Child's Play?
Oh, I'm gonna throw a curveball.
Okay.
The series.
Oh, okay, okay.
I liked it. I thought it was. I liked the comedic aspect of it. I liked all of it. And again, I never got super invested into Child's Play. I've seen the original one. It scared the shit out of me, and I rewatched it as an adult. It's not really my cup of tea. So I'm gonna go with the TV show, the
Okay.
series that came out on I think USA or whatever
USA,
it
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
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 No shit. No free
Interesting.
shout outs USA. Checks in the mail.
All right, what about Saw?
Um, taking the original one off the table. Um, Jigsaw, the
Okay.
one with Chris Rock, where he's the
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, where he's the original. He's what was it? The dude's name in the first one, the cop from the first movie. It's his son.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a side of the original Saw story. You know what I mean? It's like its own little like tangent of it. But I would probably say that one or 2 and 3 as one unit because you find out that they're happening at the same time. So I think looking back on it, knowing that 2 and 3 happen at the same time in the timeline, I think putting them together make them an equally as cool story.
All right. All right, I got one more for you. Of course, we got to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh. Number 3, the Dream Warriors.
Yes, fuck yes. I was like, there's
Yeah.
only one. There is only one
There's
right
only
answer
one
here,
real
Will.
answer there.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's first major film role. And then you think about like all of what it represented. You know what I mean? Like teenagers like fighting back and the uphill battle and shit. Like I think that whole story is just cool as fuck. Like
Yeah.
it's the first time where it's like the people reach that point of going, we're not scared anymore. You know,
Right.
and I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So, side story here. I don't think I've actually said this in public, but I know I've told this theory like or like putting on your cap here, as you said. I had an idea for like a spin-off of Dream Warriors, right? Okay. So let's say, the Dream Warriors, they do put to waste Fred Krueger. And
Mhm.
then from there it's like, okay, they're these omnipotent, powerful dream warriors, right? But what if they go on to just be corrupt and just do vile and terrible things, and in a way they become somewhat worse than Freddy Krueger? Like, they just
Ooh.
destroy society. It's like
Once they
we all
realize they have that power and
power.
can
Yeah.
fight in other people's dreams,
Yeah,
they
and they fuck
get
with
power
everybody. Yeah.
hungry and start becoming almost Freddy like themselves and like invading people's dreams. Like the heel turn of the Dream Warriors. That's
Right.
fucking genius, dude.
And they conjure up, some people later on in the future conjure up the only way they can stop him. They have to bring Freddy Krueger back.
A double
Oh,
turn so we get babyface
oh,
Freddy to have to kill
yeah,
the Dream Warrior. Oh my
yeah.
god, dude, that's genius.
Let's fucking do it. Wes
Wow,
Craven, if
man,
you're
that's
watching.
actually really good.
Yeah, I would totally. And I, it's when I was talking to Gout with that about that, I was like, I totally, like, when I first pictured it, I was like, I could see it being like a comic book series or something. Like, you could do
That
like a long drawn out, like a 12 part like series or something.
dude,
Oh yeah.
that's like otherworldly good. That's one of those like write that down and mail it to yourself so you can
Right.
timestamp it good.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
We need to make it happen.
Yeah, dude.
Image Comics, if you're listening, man, I got a great story. Let's do it.
Dude, holy crap. That like immediately my brain starts going. Like that would be a great like short film for a festival or something cool.
Yeah.
Like where you could do it and not even necessarily even need the like the whole idea of being able to dance around who they are without ever using the copyrights and stuff,
Right.
obviously. But
There's a
like,
way. There's
yeah, you
definitely a
could
way.
totally make that happen.
Hell yeah. And
That
that
would
could
be
be like the first part of it would be the tease, like something's going on, and then like you get midway through it and something you realize like, holy fuck, this is like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 characters? Like
yeah,
what?
it's just their first names, and we never
Yeah.
like you'd never detail their last name. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, we could totally write this.
Yes. I think we need to make it happen, brother. Oh. Well, my friend, now I want to play a little game with you. Okay. I'm gonna give you a horror movie title. Okay.
Okay.
And this is either a real horror movie or a fake horror movie I've made up. So all right. First up, April Fool's Day.
I feel like that has to be real.
It's real. Yeah,
Okay.
it was like a cheesy flick from the 70s. So, um, the Meatball Massacre.
I'm gonna go fake, but it's not gonna surprise me if that's real.
So here's the funny thing. It is fake for now because in my research I found out this movie is actually in development.
Really?
There is a movie called The Meatball Massacre that is in development, but for now it's fake. So.
The Midnight Meat Train. That's what came to mind when you said
Ah,
that.
yes, yes. Tag, you're dead.
I'm gonna go real.
Surprisingly enough, this one is actually fake.
Okay.
But it does sound like it'd be a real one, right? Yeah. So
Immediately start writing the story of like a deranged serial killer who like puts a people in a series of events where they're playing tag and is like essentially they have to kill each other off in the game, and the last person who survives the game of tag is the person who gets away.
Oh my god, man! We just need to. Okay, that's it. Will. We're just gonna fucking sit down one day and we're gonna write a bunch of fucking movies, and that's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna start our own studio. The Nail Gun Massacre.
I'm on a drought here. Let's go real.
That is correct. It is a real movie. I actually I love the shit out of this movie. This was like one of those cheesy like B, not even a B movie. It's even below that I just found at random, and I was just like I've always loved that movie. It's so ridiculous. Pretty much, it's like it's kind of like they took like I Spit on Your Grave, and they just pretty much was like they gave the chick a nail gun, and there you go. That's the Nail Gun Massacre. Blood Dome.
Blood Dome sounds like a B-list horror movie, but I'm going to say this one is fake.
You are correct. It is fake. But man, it would be
but it would be a great movie.
It would be a good movie. Birdemic.
Birdemic. I'm hoping this one's real. I'm going to say real because I want it to be real.
It is. This is a real movie.
So terrible.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, I've never seen it, but I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, that looks fucking... Birdemic. Grandpa Did It.
That sounds like a porn title. Is it fake?
It is fake.
Okay.
It is fake. All right,
when we do horror trivia, we do a horror porn, and it'll be actresses' names, and you have to guess if it's a horror actress or a porn star.
That's good. That would be tough. That would be tough.
Mm-hmm.
I got one more for you, my friend. Evil Bong.
Evil Bong?
Evil Bong.
God, please be real so I can look this up and watch it.
Your night's made, my friend. This is real. I was hoping you'd see it. Yes, dude. All right. You prepare yourself for this, Will, because yes, it is exactly what you think. The main character is a bong that is evil, there's there's a franchise of these films. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh,
That's your night, my friend. Enjoy watching the Evil Bong series.
it's
I
like
believe
rubber.
Full Moon feature or Full Moon Pictures put them out. But
Really?
yeah, yeah,
That's a pretty reputable house to
yeah,
be doing the Evil Bong series.
yeah. You gotta check it out, buddy. Like you're gonna love it. You will love it.
It's up there with that movie Rubber, the crazy deranged tire that
Yeah,
starts
I
killing
fucking
people.
love that movie, man. Absolutely. Wow. All right, I got one more game for you, my friend, and now I want to ask you if you could put your chef hat on because
Deal?
I'm going to give you the name of a film, a horror film, and I want you to pair a dish to go with that horror film.
Absolutely.
So first up, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I
Yes.
think the only thing that you could do, one being from Texas and understanding, I'm watching the Ed Gein story now. You have to do a big cut of beef. I feel like that's a very meat and potatoes kind of dish, but I'm thinking like a cowboy ribeye, like something big with a bone,
Oh.
sliced and presented off with some potatoes. You're gonna think probably like some summer corn. So probably do like a fresh corn succotash and some sort of a potato to go along with
Oh man, that beats the hell out of Grandpa's chili. I'm all for it.
it.
Let's do it. Um, The Exorcist.
Oh, this one is good. Um, let's go a green pea puree
Of course.
with what we'll do is a green pea puree with, let's do lamb for the
Mhm.
whole like body of
Okay.
Christ exorcist
Oh,
thing. So we'll
yes,
do
yes.
lamb chops. And what we'll do is we'll do a red chimichurri for the blood of the Christ.
Oh my, I love it. I love the themes behind it too. This is wonderful. Like you so what you need to do here, Will, is you need to host like a dinner party or something. Charge people $100 to come in or whatever. They
And
watch
do
The
themed
Exorcist
dishes
and
around
yeah,
around different movies. Oh, that's actually really fucking
because
good idea.
stupid people like me will pay you whatever the fuck you want to do that. So I'm all in. Um, Leprechaun.
Oh, okay. So I immediately start thinking Irish. So
Right.
let's do, I would say honestly, this one, let's keep it simple and do a traditional Irish breakfast. So beans and toast and roasted tomatoes and mushrooms, eggs, blood sausage or blood pudding. Like, yeah, super traditional, super straightforward. And then because he's a leprechaun and they're similar to hobbits, we would have second breakfast, which would be the exact same meal over again.
Oh, I like it. You magnificent bastard, you. That is incredible. All right, all right. Evil Dead.
Okay. Uh Looking at Ash and looking at the fact that he would work those long, hard days at S Mart, uh, the Ash special would be a spicy chicken sandwich, and the side would be a boomstick, which would be a fried mozzarella stick wrapped in mashed potatoes and then deep fried. So it'd be like a hot chicken sandwich, and then the boomstick would be the side, and it's mashed potatoes with fried cheese.
God damn, that's magnificent.
There you go.
That
I
is
actually
incredible.
called that the BFT back in the day. I called it the big fucking tater. And
Oh,
it
okay.
was a fried mozzarella stick that I took like cold mashed potatoes and balled it around it. So it was a fried mozzarella stick and like mozzarella stick and side of mashed potatoes. And then I would roll it in egg wash and panko and deep fry all of it. So it was like fried potato with melty cheese in the middle. So I called it the BFT before. It was like a really like a deep fried like tater tot with melted cheese in the middle. But for Ash, we would call it the boomstick, and you would get the boomstick with your spicy chicken sandwich.
That is so goddamn incredible. Holy shit. Like, okay, I got one more, but I don't see how you top Alien. What about
Who?
Alien? Alien.
Alien.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like for Alien, we would need to do some sort of like sushi, specifically eel or octopus, so it would look like an alien on your plate, like baby
Oh,
octopus
okay.
sushi. and then you
Okay.
could put it on like crispy fried cakes, and you would need to use some sort of like a gochujang or some sort of like red pepper, so that way you could get the red on the plate and take your spoon and smash it so it splatters, so it'll look like blood splatter with your crispy fried cake in the middle and your little octopus alien head on top of it, so it looks like the alien's busting out and there's blood on. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah, I totally get it. I'm down with
Yeah,
that vibe.
that's how I would do that.
Man, God.
This is
All
all
of
done on the
those.
fly, just for the record, for people listening. I had no
Yeah.
fucking clue he was going
Yeah.
to ask me any of
Yeah.
these questions.
Yep. This literally preface it with like had no idea and like did fucking incredible, my friend. Like I want all those dishes, my friend. All right, so as we are finishing up our conversation here, talking horror films here on the Horror Effect on ColeCast, I want to ask you this: what do you think, in your opinion, is the worst horror film of all time? Just
Zombie strippers.
zombie. Okay, so we're gonna go. Okay,
No, that's an easy pick,
that's
but
all right.
it's so bad everybody needs to watch it though.
Okay. You
Yeah.
ever we talking about zombie? Like, you ever see the Wrestlers vs Zombies movie? I'm sure you have, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, right? Wrestlers
Yeah,
vs Zombies.
wrestlers versus
Yeah.
zombies. There's a whole bunch of them that are like that. That are like whatever versus zombies, like Abraham Lincoln versus zombies, I believe
Oh
is out
yeah,
there. You know what I
fucking
mean?
forgot
Like,
about that.
yeah.
Okay. All right. What do you think is one of the most, or if not the most underrated horror film of all time?
Oh, most underrated horror film of all time. Um, the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Oh,
That's a
okay,
deep cut.
okay,
It's a
okay.
found footage movie that
Yeah.
is up there with the quality and shooting of the Blair Witch Project. So much so that if you watch the Poughkeepsie tapes and somebody didn't tell you it was a horror movie, you would think it was a documentary about a serial killer. That's how well done it is.
Nice. That's a deep cut. I like that. Um, we've talked about horror films here on this episode, of course, and I think one thing we've kind of touched base is I want to talk about some of the directors. I wanted to put you on the spot. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of horror directors?
I'm gonna fuck up all the names because I won't remember them all. Wes Craven,
Mhm.
Danny Boyle,
Nice.
the guy who directed the original Halloween. John
John
Carpenter wrote.
Carpenter.
Was it John? Did he direct it as well? I knew he wrote and produced it.
Uh,
I didn't know if he
I
directed it or
always
not.
consider him I mean, it may
Okay, well
not
then,
be technically, but we're still counting. I mean, John Carpenter, not even only that, just you think about Thing, They Live, like fucking vampire, like so many damn great John Carpenter
yeah.
films. Yeah.
So Wes Craven. I'll take Danny Boyle off and put Romero up there because we were talking about that earlier, the Godfather of the genre. So Romero, Wes Craven, um, John Carpenter, and then my last one. Um, Jordan Peele.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, because
His
he's
most recent run of some of it, like Get Out and stuff like that. Like I'm gonna throw a wrench in the spokes and say that I really enjoy what he's doing with the horror
yeah.
genre right now.
I really loved what was it? Us? I think
Us.
Us.
That was a
Us.
movie.
Us was
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm sorry, I am forgetting her name. I feel so bad, but she made that fucking movie,
I
man.
can't think of her name right now
Oh
either.
my god! And then like the twist at the end, you're just like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a great fucking movie.
I'm
So
gonna put him up there right now as
I
one of my
I
like my
respect that.
current favorite. You know.
I respect that. Well, one last thing I think we have to discuss here, my friend. Of course, Halloween is upon us. That being said, what are some of your must watches around Halloween? You got to check out on Halloween night even.
Um, I would say let's watch. If I'm gonna say pick your, just sit down and we're gonna watch some good horror movies. Number one, I'm gonna say we need to watch 28 Days Later. I want to watch this
Yep.
good zombie movie, so we're gonna watch my favorite zombie movie. If we're gonna watch a slasher, then I would probably either say the original Halloween or the zombie Halloween. But I'll throw a wrench in again, and I'll say we'll watch Halloween 2018.
Mm,
Keep
okay.
it with the more recent one. Um, And then the third one, just because we need something kind of to round the night out with, and I want it to be kind of the Collector.
Oh, okay.
It's a little AWOL. It's not a slasher. It's not a zombie
Yeah,
movie. It's very thriller-ish of your horror genre. But I think that movie is one that'll make you think.
I like it, man. You've thrown
Yeah.
some curveballs here in this episode, but I love it, man. It was, I gotta admit, going into this, it wasn't what I was expecting, but that's what I love about doing these episodes. We
Mhm.
have a discussion, and you realize, like, oh my god, you love this too, or that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Well,
Had a blast.
yeah, this has been an amazing episode here of ColeCast, the Horror Effect Part 5. Can't believe it's the 5th episode we've done. But as always, when we close out with our guests, we got to hit a little plug-a-palooza. Will, please tell us where we can find you, my friend.
First and foremost, as always, thank you for allowing me to be part of this. This was a blast. Definitely a nice change of scenery from chatting about wrestling. As always, if you're interested in my shenanigans elsewhere for wrestling and or horror, check the link tree in all of my bios anywhere you do anything on the internet at the Will Gray, and you'll find everything I do for Rivet City Radio, Botch Pots and Chair Shots, and World Championship Wreckage.
There you go. I have it. Well, Will, thank you so much for joining us. This has been an amazing episode. I've absolutely loved doing this, having such a great discussion of horror films. Hell, I think we can run it back. And be on the lookout, too, because Will and I will be starting our own studio here in the next year or so. Just
We're about to make
there.
millions. Obviously.
We're going to make billions of dollars, my friend. We're going to be made in the shade. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on ColeCast. And don't forget to check out all of Halloween week this week here on Cole TV with all the amazing content coming your way. And please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, I'm Xlj the Og. This is the Will Gray. See you on another episode of ColeCast. Everybody take care. Bye. And happy Halloween.